We just had the Capcom showcase where they revealed all the details for Title Update 2, and boy are they cooking. I have been really anticipating Title Update 2 for Monster Hunter Wilds, seeing as the game has honestly not been doing too well. A lot of people have been upset at the game for various different reasons, so going into this I had high expectations for what we would see for Title Update 2, and thankfully we're actually getting a lot of goodies. So of course the big two highlights of Title Update 2 are going to be the two new returning monsters in the form of the Leviathan Lagiacrus, which we already knew was going to be coming to the game. As he had been teased previously, we have been looking at his feed for over a month now, and it's great to see him in such great shape and form. I mean, they even recreated various iconic scenes from the Tri opening, so old fans like me that have played Monster Hunter Tri and the older games likely got a bit of nostalgia out of that. And I was personally very concerned, along with many other players I'm sure, about how they would implement Lagiacrus into the game, as a big part of his fight that made him so much more interesting was fighting him underwater. And the mad lads over at Capcom actually did it. They implemented an underwater segment for the combat where you go underwater, you're able to dodge some attacks, you're able to use the environment against Lagiacrus. Now it's not 100% underwater combat, you don't actually get to use your weapon. They straight up said that you would be limited while you are underwater, so you cannot use your weapon, but it's cool that they went out of their way to make such a cool homage to Lagiacrus and the whole underwater combat mechanic that we have not seen being brought back since the 3rd generation, and it was honestly very cool to see. For those that are new to the franchise, Lagiacrus is a monster that we have not been able to fight since Generations Ultimate, and even then some of his moveset got kinda gutted because again, a lot of his interesting moves were all about the underwater combat, so the devs actually managed to add that into the game, and I'm very happy about this. And as for the rest of the movesets, it also looks very impressive. It looks to also have some moves from Abyssal Lagiacrus, like the parts where you see all of those shockwaves coming out of his back. I think that is from Abyssal, but instead of being underwater when he does that, he actually does that on land, so that is pretty cool. One really cool thing about Lagiacrus is that we're going to be fighting him in a special area within the Scarlet Forest, which was actually an area that some people were able to spot by utilizing tools such as FreeCam to access it, and this area looks really cool, and I wonder if we're going to be able to fight any other monster besides Lagiacrus in that area, though I doubt that's going to be the case. But of course, the other big highlight for Title Update 2 is none other than Seregios, the flying wyvern that is the flagship of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I've always been a fan of Seregios, though he has never been one of my favorites. His fight has always been very dynamic, as he is a very mobile and agile flying wyvern that often dives you and then has these big openings that you can exploit to deal big damage, and that is likely going to be the case here in Wilds. Now, the reveal of Seregios didn't really come as a surprise for me and many others, I'm sure, because Sony PlayStation actually leaked the fact that Seregios was going to be in Title Update 2, which was unfortunate, and me myself being a content creator, this is the type of thing that it's really hard to avoid because you often get people DMing this to you, and they never really do this out of malice to spoil you. It's just to inform us as content creators, but ideally I would have liked to avoid those news and would much rather be surprised to see him on screen during the showcase. That said, what I am looking forward to is getting the Lagiacrus armor and Seregios armor in the game, as both of them are majestic. They even showcase Lagiacrus armor here together with an insect glaive, which in the past Lagiacrus has never had an insect glaive, but of course since he is being added as part of a title update, every single weapon will be able to get a Lagiacrus weapon. Now as for the armor skills, they haven't revealed what exactly they are going to be, but traditionally they keep things very related to what has been the case in the past, and seeing as Lagiacrus armor typically has elemental attack up, razor sharp and stamina recovery, we're likely going to see similar things in his armor. I just hope that the weapons aren't as restrictive as Mizutsune's weapons, because they were really good but were held back by the fact that you needed to wear 4 Mizu pieces in order to use them, and even then they fell behind simply going for the 4-piece Gormagala. So if Lagiacrus weapons have similar requirements, then at least I hope that his armor is good. As for Seregios, he typically has Evade Window and Handicraft, with the main gimmick of the armor set being that you are able to restore sharpness by dodge rolling, so it's always a fun and useful skill to have. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with Seregios as he was present in Monster Hunter Rise. I'm personally pretty attached to his armor set as I used it a ton in 4 Ultimate, so I really hope it's good in this game as well. Now of course, another big thing about Title Update 2 is layered weapons, something that they have mentioned in the past was going to be added to the game. They are being released in Title Update 2, and apparently all you need to get these layered weapons is to craft the final upgrade of the weapon in the weapon tree, and you'll get the layered weapon that way. So there's not going to be any sort of grinding required to unlock the layered version of each weapon, like was the case in Iceborne. And we actually have a release date, of course, for Title Update 2. It's gonna be on June 30th, though I do hope it's not June 30th at 3 AM for me. A lot of these updates are usually released pretty late here in Europe, but we're going to see how that works. Now, we also got a roadmap for the upcoming content for Monster Hunter Wilds, and in it we can see the new icons for Lagaicras and Seregios, which I'm always a fan of. I always like the way they do icons in the Monster Hunter games. But of course, as future title is concerned, we have the unfortunate and bitter news that Title Update 3 will only release in late September and will come with an additional monster, potentially 2, because Title Update 2 was initially revealed to only have 1 additional monster but ended up having 2, so fingers crossed on that one, and that we are going to be getting a seasonal event, so a brand new festival in Title Update 2 as well. Now within Title Update 2 there's still a few more things coming. Starting at the end of July, from July 23rd up until August 6th, we're going to have the Festival of Accord Flamfet, I think that is how you pronounce it. That is essentially going to be the summer festival for Monster Hunter Wilds. They are going to release the diver set, which I believe was first released in Monster Hunter World, and we're going to be getting some more summer outfits for our characters. And of course we can expect Alma to have a new outfit as well, and naturally the Gathering Hub is going to have a whole new visual which looks just beautiful. And hey, even Gemma the Smithy looks to be sporting a new outfit, which is reminiscent of her old outfit back from when she was Little Miss Forge in 4 Ultimate, and she's even wearing this small adorable Lagaicras pendant, which I hope we have some way to add to our own characters. Then on July 30th we're going to be getting Arch-Tempered Uthuna as an event quest going up until August 20th. Of course we already knew we're going to be getting more Arc-Tempered monsters as we get more and more time in the game. I expect them to eventually do all of the Apex monsters, followed by Gormagala and Arkveld, though I would also like them to see adding an Arc-Tempered version of the Title Update monsters, but maybe that's a bit too many. And of course, naturally, Arc-Tempered Uthuna is gonna have its own Gamma set, which I am excited for because the Gamma set for Raidao is actually quite powerful, and we're gonna be able to mix the Gamma pieces from Uthuna and Raidao and still get the special Gamma set bonus that gives you an increased attack but lowers your defense, but also gives you guts at the same time, and once you lose it, you get some extra defense. I like that set bonus a lot, so getting more options to mix them is gonna be nice. And then this was a huge surprise. From August 27th up until September 24th, we're gonna have a limited time collaboration that is actually for Fender. So I actually didn't know anything about this. Fender is a musical instruments corporation where they make guitars and other types of musical instruments, and apparently they have collaborated with Monster Hunter in the past. They have made Rathalos themed guitars, and we're going to be getting an emote where you can play guitar in Monster Hunter where you get your own guitar. That's pretty neat, definitely not something I expected. It feels akin to some of these smaller collaborations that used to be in the older Monster Hunter games, but back then we had so many collaborations, whereas we don't really have as many collaborations nowadays. So I hope that eventually with more title updates we get way more collaborations, because at this point I'm kind of expecting us to get some big time collaborations like the Final Fantasy one or the Witcher 3 collaboration from Monster Hunter World, because those were amazing. They also revealed that we're going to be getting the Caravanier's jacket and outfit that we are of course going to be able to use as layered armor as part of an event quest. Now I hope that we also get the Caravanier's hat, though because it isn't shown in the screenshot, I think that they just forgot about the hat for some reason, but I guess that is actually just Gemma's outfit, and because she doesn't have a hat, we're not gonna have the hat, and maybe the headpiece is the goggles that she has around her neck. But hey, it's cool that we get this as a layered option. We're gonna be getting some nice quality of life additions as well in the form of some photo mode changes. We're gonna be able to remove the handler and the palico and even the sacred as well, and we have even more options to mess around in the photo mode, which as a content creator that is a big deal for me, as I'm able to make my thumbnails a lot easier. And there's going to be even more DLC packs that we're going to be able to add to our hunters, and this time around they look to be very futuristic. With this hairstyle that is reminiscent of Lucy from the Cyberpunk anime, and even the armor itself, it looks like something that you would see out of Cyberpunk. But unfortunately all of these are going to be paid DLC cosmetics, though I believe if you do have the deluxe edition of the game you'll be able to get it as well. Though they did showcase some event weapons that we're going to be able to craft, such as the Palico Paw Dual Blades, the Pickaxe Longsword. That of course is going to be perfect with the addition of layered weapons. Now that said, along with this showcase, a director's letter was also released that includes some patch notes that are going to be coming to the game with Title Update 2 that change some quality of life stuff. and actually contain a ton of buffs and nerfs. Many of them were expected, but some others I really did not expect. Some interesting bits from there were that you would be able to now turn off the wavering health indicator that you get whenever you are low HP. Something that is greatly appreciated because it's something that I feel like we were told we would be able to turn off once the game released. And they also mentioned that we're going to be able to show the amount of damage that is dealt by support hunters, and that they are going to be adding a new support hunter as well. And apparently they are going to become more powerful once you are past the hunter rank 100, which by now I'm sure most of you already are. So that's going to be interesting. I personally never really used them, but I wonder how this is going to affect the gameplay for different players. Now, as for the big weapon changes, the hammer got a huge change that they even showcased in the livestream, where the charge level 2 for the upswing will now count as an offset attack, which I always thought would make sense for it to be the case, and at some point I even thought it was the case, so that is a big win. As for the charge blade, it's also getting a huge buff, as guard points will now count as a perfect guard, which is awesome, as I felt the separation made the weapon feel a lot more clunky. And again, there's plenty more changes for us to go over, so I'm going to have a separate video once the title update 2 drops, where I'm going to be comparing how every weapon feels and the damage that it deals prior to all of these changes, and then compare it to how the weapon is after the title update 2 releases. So do look forward to that. All in all, I think that Capcom has cooked up a pretty nice title update. It is unfortunate that a lot of us already knew that Sarakios was going to be coming in, because otherwise it would have been a huge surprise. Now, it's a shame that they didn't address the game's lack of optimization, because that is the reason why, if you go on Steam, Monster Hunter Wilds currently has negative reviews in the recent time period, because a lot of people are unable to play the game, essentially review bombing Steam in the only place where you can actually leave your feedback, because yeah, we deserve to have a game that is better optimized. Personally, I don't have any of these issues because I have a beefy PC, so I'm able to play the game, stream it, and record videos on it all at the same time, without having any performance issues. But of course that's not the case for everyone, and it's just unfortunate that we're not able to have a game that runs well in this day and age. And the fact that the next title update is only releasing in September, while it seems like that is very far away, given that we now have summer and a lot of people are going on vacation, I feel like the wait isn't going to feel as massive as it was for title update 2. But let me know what you all think about title update 2. I will of course be doing an armor review for both Lagiacrus and Saragios, and again covering all of the notes, and again covering all of the changes in the patch notes, so please look forward to that. Sorry this video isn't being released the day that we got these news. As you can tell from my voice, I have been pretty sick, so it has been difficult to record these videos, but I hope to make it up to you guys with a lot more content in the future. That being said, my name is Dark Hero, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting.